Hello. So, I don't normally do this, but somebody has asked me to talk about chilli growing. So, I'm going to show you how I do it. That does not mean that that is the right way or the only way. It's just the way that works for me. So, I'm just caveating that with ignore me if you want to. If you have your own way, that's fine. But here's what I do. So, I've been growing chillies for years and years and years, and I have actually grown them commercially a long time ago. But the reason that I grow chillies is because they're such good fun. You can choose a different variety every year, or several different varieties every year. You get to find which ones you love. You get to find which ones aren't quite so much for you. We don't eat any of the really hot ones, so therefore we don't grow any of the really hot ones, because what would be the point? But we tend to grow the sort of medium heat, usable everyday jobbies. But to be honest, why do I grow them? Because they're bloody beautiful. So I have grown lots of varieties this year, but I'm just going to talk about two. So this is chilli Machu Picchu, and this is an Aji Red. You'll probably have heard of Aji Lemon, which is a really lovely chilli that is really lemony flavoured. Not sure what this one's going to be like. It's a new trial thing. And again, this one is a new one. I think they both came from Sea Spring seeds. But whereas I'm usually really good at writing the names of the seed people on the back of a stick, I appear to have forgotten, or it's worn off. Anyway, whatever. So, the first thing to talk about is when I sow them. So I always sow them on the 1st of January, and I realise there is a complete contradiction there, in that I'm always saying to people, don't worry, let's slow down. But chillies need long season, so you can't really get them into the soil early enough. However, the real reason that I do them on New Year's Day, did I say New Year's Eve? New Year's Day, is because usually on New Year's Day I need something to do, and I'm always saying to people, don't say anything yet, and I have to remind myself. So I sow them in modules, always in modules, and I don't ever remove them from that first module until they're fully rooted, which can take weeks. If you sow them on the 1st of January, quite often you won't see them even popping up until the middle of February. But it makes you feel good, and it makes you know you've done something. So these came out of their modules about 4 or 5 weeks ago. They went straight up into this 9 centimetre size pot. I have then had them on a really warm bathroom windowsill. I'm sure Mr. V's really happy that he's been showering with chillies. So what I do at this point, then, I'm going to do this one because I want to show you the root system. The really important thing about chillies is don't let them get over-rooted in their pots. So once they get to that point, they will stop growing if you don't pot them on. So they'll stop growing root and they'll stop growing top. And that's where a lot of people go wrong, because they think you can leave a chilli in that size pot. Now, I am going to put them into this size pot. This is, I think, a 2 litre. Doesn't say, does it? Typical. But I'm pretty sure that that's about a 2 litre. So they go in there, and I have begun to use Dalefoot tomato compost for my chillies. It's peat free. It's really beautiful. You don't have to add any feed the entire season. You just have to water it, but even then it holds onto the water really well. So it's a really great product, and it's peat free. So I would strongly recommend that. It's in a green bag, and it says tomato on it, and you can order it from their website if they've still got any. They keep running out, but it's there. What somebody said to me the other day is, do I pinch chillies out? Now, this is controversial. I'm aware that this is controversial, but yes, I do. Now, the reason I pinch them out is because I want them to not be apically dominant. try saying that without your teeth in. I want the growth hormones to go down a bit into the pot, so that into the stem, so that when I pot this up and put new compost around it, and it has lots of room for the roots to grow out, it doesn't just go whew, but it will go back to these little buds here, and it'll bush basically. Now, some chilli growers are quite harsh when they do this. I'm not that harsh anyway. So some people would take them literally kind of down to there and chop them off there. No. So I take literally just the tip, just the top one, and get my secateurs and just do it's a fiddle, just literally take off that. And what I've actually done there is I've taken off the first of the flower buds as well. Now, I never let my chillies flower until the 1st of June. That's because I don't want them flowering. I want them to make big bushy plants. And once they make big bushy plants, you will get the kind of plant covered in chillies that you see at a chilli fair or a garden festival or whatever. You won't get that if you don't tip your plant, and you certainly won't get that if you leave it in there. So that's how I do it. I'm not going to show you me potting it up, because you don't need to see that. Just pot it up into that size pot. What I will say, however, is if they then run out of root room, I will pot them on again. And I've had chillies in up to 20 litre pots. So I just, really keep potting them up. Don't worry about that. Just keep doing it. And the more you do, and if you see that they've stopped growing, that's why. What was the other thing that I was going to say? Something just flashed across my mind then, and needless to say, it's gone straight in there and straight out there. It can't have been anything majorly important. I was just going to talk about watering. The other thing is, people go, oh, chillies, they come from Mexico, they don't need a lot of water. Yeah, they do. They really like to be moist. So don't underwater them. And if they do get really dry, I just put them in the bath. Generally when Andy's not around, so maybe I shouldn't be saying that on here. But yeah, just put some water in a bucket or something and let them take it up through capillary action. So that's about it really. That's all I've really got to say about chillies for now. I love them. I think everybody should grow them because they're fun, and they're a great thing to grow with kids, particularly some of the funnier ones, so things like Friar's Cap. I'm not going to mention that one, but if you've got teenagers, I bet they'd be quite interested in growing penis shaped plants. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to go and get on with it. See you all later.